This doctor here made over $12 million selling goat balls as a cure. That's around $200 million in today's money, and he did it taking testicles from a goat and sewing them into men's bodies. Men were lining up and paying huge amounts of money to have goat testicles surgically placed into their bodies. Imagine being in a desperate situation to fix a problem, and you are willing to let someone cut you open and put animal parts inside you. That's how bad these men wanted help. They were embarrassed, they felt broken, and this guy promised them he could actually fix everything, and for a while it seemed like he actually could. This was in the 1920s in America. If you were a man and struggling with impotence, you had no option. Doctors didn't really know how to help you. There were no pills, there were no treatments that actually worked. So men suffered in silence. Men were too embarrassed to talk about it. Some were too ashamed to even ask for help. That shame made them the perfect target. The name of the doctor is John Brinkley. He called himself a doctor, but he wasn't really a doctor at all. He bought a medical degree from a fake school, what they call actually a diploma mill. You pay money and you get a piece of paper that says you are a doctor. Brinkley set up a clinic in a tiny town called Milford, Kansas in 1918. At first, he was just a normal town doctor. He treated people for flu, paid good wages to his workers. People liked him and even they trusted him, and that's when he came up with a big idea. One day, a farmer came to see Brinkley. The farmer was older and was struggling with impotence. He was embarrassed but desperate for help. So Brinkley was joking around with him, and he said something like, "You know what you need? You just need a pair of goat balls. Those goats are the healthiest animals I've ever seen." Then the farmer looked at him and he said, "Well, let's do it. Put the goat balls in me." Brinkley thought the guy was joking, but the farmer kept pushing. He offered to pay $150, which was a lot of money back in the day. So Brinkley did it. He took the testicles from a young goat and surgically placed them into the farmer's body. And here's where it gets crazy. A few months later, the farmer's wife had a baby. The word spread like wildfire in that small town. Did you hear? That farmer who got goat balls from Dr. Brinkley, and now his wife is pregnant. People started showing up at Brinkley's clinic asking for the same procedure. Then Brinkley did something genius for getting actual attention. He named the baby of the farmer Billy after the baby goat, and he made sure everyone knew about it. Newspapers picked up on the story. Goat glands restore man's strength. Soon people were coming all over Kansas, then all over America. Then Brinkley raised his prices from $150 to $750. That's about $11,000 in today's money. Desperate men who wanted to get fixed kept paying. Within a few years, Brinkley was doing hundreds of these surgeries. He was making so much money that he bought his own radio station so he could advertise his treatments to even more people. In 1930, Brinkley was one of the richest men in Kansas. He had fancy cars, huge mansions, his own aeroplane. He built an entire hospital just for his goat gland operations. He claimed he could cure 27 diseases with goat glands, not just impotence. He said it could cure insanity, depressions. At one point, he was seeing 50 patients every single week, all of them paying $750 or more. And in 1920s, the guy was absolutely printing money. The goat testicles, in actual sense, didn't do anything. Your body sees foreign tissue and it attacks it. The goat glands would actually just die and get absorbed or cause an infection. Any man who felt better after the surgery was experiencing actually a placebo effect. They believed it worked, so they felt like it worked. But some men didn't feel better. Some men actually got really very sick. At least 42 men died from infections after surgeries, and Brinkley signed every single one of their death certificate himself. The American Medical Association had been watching Brinkley for years. They knew he was a fraud. A doctor named Morris Fishbane made it his mission to take Brinkley down. He wrote articles calling Brinkley a quack, a charlatan, and Brinkley fought back. He went to radio station and called the AMA liars. He said they were jealous of his success and they were trying to shut him down because he was helping people they couldn't help, and a lot of people believed him. So in 1930, Brinkley even ran for governor of Kansas. He almost won. He got 30 out of 100 votes as a write-in candidate, but the medical board had enough evidence. In 1930, they held a hearing and revoked his medical license. They called his work organized charlatanism. Brinkley didn't stop though. He moved to Texas and kept doing surgeries. He even built a massive radio station in Mexico, just across the border, so that American authorities could not shut it down. But then, in 1939, Fishbane published an article calling Brinkley's work quackery, reaching its highest point. Brinkley decided to sue him in libel for calling him a quack. In court, Brinkley had to admit under oath that his gland operations didn't actually rejuvenate men. He admitted that his advertisements were false. The jury took just a few hours to decide. They ruled against Brinkley. Dozens of lawsuits. The IRS came after him for unpaid taxes. Then in 1941, Brinkley declared bankruptcy and he lost everything. He died in 1942 after a heart attack, completely broke, leaving his wife and son with nothing. Brinkley fooled thousands of people over 20 years because he mastered one thing, that was storytelling. He did not sell goat testicles. He sold hope wrapped in a story people desperately wanted to believe. He started with one testimonial and he turned that into a story. He made sure newspapers wrote about it. He got everyone talking about the miracle, and then he let other men tell their stories. Testimonials were running in the lines of, I got my surgery and I feel like a new man. My wife is pregnant now. Dr. Brinkley saved my marriage. These were real people in this town saying their lives changed. That's more powerful than any advertisement could ever be. When you are selling something, facts don't convince people, stories do. Brinkley could have said this procedure has a scientific basis in glandular therapy. Nobody would have cared. Instead, he said, look at this farmer. He was struggling. Now he has a baby boy named Billy. People can ignore facts, but they can't ignore stories about real people. Brinkley built his entire empire on testimonials. Every patient who felt better became a walking advertisement. They told their friends, their neighbors, or anyone who could listen. They could go around town saying things like, you have to see Dr. Brinkley. He changed my life. When you hear that from someone who you know and trust, you believe it, even if it sounds crazy. That's why Brinkley kept growing. Every successful patient brought him 5 more patients, and the ones actually who died or got sick, he kept those quiet. He signed the death certificate himself. He moved to the next patient. He controlled the narrative. He only let good stories spread. Every testimonial followed the same pattern. Before, they were embarrassed, ashamed, marriage was falling apart, and the solution was Dr. Brinkley's gland surgery. The man feels young again, the wife is happy, and life is good. That is actually the hero's journey in just 3 sentences, because people don't buy products, they buy transformation. They buy the after version of themselves. So how do you use Brinkley's techniques in your business today? I'm not saying you become a charlatan, but this is the most powerful tool that exists. If you can get your customers to tell their transformation stories, you can sell anything. Look at every successful brand right now. Weight loss companies, they don't show the science. They show you the before and after photos with stories. People go like, I lost 50 pounds and I got my confidence back. Business coaches don't actually just sell credentials. They show students who went from broke to making 6 figures. Fitness programs don't explain exercise science. They show you people who transformed their bodies. I could not run a mile. Now I am doing marathons. This pattern is always the same. Before, solution, after. Here's what Brinkley taught us about selling anything. Find people who are desperate for the solution. They are the best customers because they want to believe. Give them a simple story to understand. Get a good testimonial. Just one person saying it worked. Let that testimonial spread naturally. People trust other people more than they trust you who is selling to them. Control the narrative and only share success stories. Hide the failures. Brinkley made $12 million with this formula because the surgery didn't matter. The story mattered more than the surgery. Stop trying to convince people with facts and features. Start collecting stories from your customers before they found you. What was their problem? How did it make them feel after they used your product? What changed? How is their life actually different now? That's your marketing right there. One good customer story is worth more than 1,000 ads listing product features. If you can tell the right story, you can sell anything to anyone, even goat testicles to desperate men. Master story and you will master the sale.